So this is how the back or front of the dome is now turning out. Eric got done with building the stairs yesterday. We also got the skirting on, and for that, of course, we're just using metal sheeting, but we're adding a little twist with adding these boards in between to kind of hide the seams and also just to break up all that metal and give it a less farmhouse effect and something a little bit more modern. Of course, we're going to be staining the stairs the same color as the deck. This pad in front of me is where the hot tub is going to go. I'm so excited for that. We fought long and hard to be able to put a hot tub up here, and I'm so glad that we got it all worked out. This outside area is turning out a lot quicker. I just can't wait till it's done so you guys can come here and book this thing. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, this is a perfect time for you to do so. We're done with the dome. The dome is completely done with the exception of painting the door because we want that blue to add some color, and just putting some finishing touches on the inside, getting everything cleaned up. We're now on the outside where we're going to have to spray paint the sheeting. We're going to have to stain the stairs and do a little bit of touch up once we get the deck pressure washed. If you have been here from the beginning, you know how important this moment is for us. We are now on the outside of the dome, and for those just tuning in, we have one more tiny home to build on this property. This is 2 acres with 3 income producing spots. So you don't want to miss how we do an Airbnb and to see if this whole investment was even worth it. So I'll catch up with you guys later in the video to let you know how we're doing on Airbnb. But for now, we got to get it done. It's been a while. We've been putting this step building off just because we wanted to make sure that everything was done underneath the deck. All of the plumbing, all of the electrical, everything that needed to be secured was done. But now we can move on to building the step and getting the skirting on the deck, and that's going to completely transform this area because it's going to make the deck look so complete, and just everything is going to start to come together. We're going to actually have a step down and not have to jump down like we've been doing. So it's not been nothing crazy, just a step. And so of course you're going to have some bracing and you're going to have some support in the middle, and that's kind of how simple we're keeping it. So the step is going to be built real soon. Eric has another one going on the opposite end of this, so it's basically a walk up and a clear walk through, and you'd be able to step down on that side. And I can't ask for more because I want this project to be over so bad, just so we can list this thing and we can really see how you guys enjoy this space. Alright guys, so we're finally working on the outside of the dome, and we are trying to figure out how we're going to lay and attach our skirting onto the deck. So we're finally done building at least one stair, and that's going to help us figure out how we're going to move forward along the entire portion of the dome. But right now Eric has built kind of a little frame or boxing for the skirting to be attached to, and we're going to be using this metal sheet, kind of like what you would use for metal roofing on the skirting. The other side of this sheeting is actually green, and I'm really happy because we're repurposing these sheets that we actually tore down off of the old buildings that the previous owner of the property had laying around. We're definitely going to get them sprayed up in a nice black that's going to match the rails of the actual deck, and we're just going to take that skirting all the way around. It was really awesome to get to a part of the property where we didn't have to spend extra money, because it's been pretty expensive. Every time you work on a project, you have to go get gravel, go get stones, get wood and paint and all that other stuff. So very soon I'm going to be restaining the entire deck in most portions, and going to include staining the stairs. So I'm just going to wait until all the stairs are built all the way around. As you guys know, this deck of course is kind of like a walkway right here, so it goes up this staircase and there'll be an identical stair on the other side, so kind of like a pass through, and then we have one more stair to build on the other side of the deck. That one won't probably be used by guests very much because it kind of walks right into the dome, but we did that so we didn't have any rails or anything blocking the view of the window in the dome. So this entire portion over here is going to kind of have a stair right here. You would be able to possibly go up on the right side here. I don't know how much it'll be utilized, but like I said, we didn't want to take this railing straight across the window of the dome, so we decided to go ahead and build it this way. The skirting is going to go all the way around, and as you can tell, even though the deck is leveled, the ground, being on the side of the mountain, is kind of having it in different heights and different sections coming from the deck to the ground. So it's lower on this side and higher on this side. So Eric's gonna have to do a lot of cutting to get this thing to work. Do you need me to hold it? That thing cut good, except for when you're going over the little hump parts. Mm-hmm.
I put one board on there thinking that would fix everything. I agree even more now.
Huh?
I have one board, that's fine. I'll find something to fill that with.
Oh. All right, so we have our first piece in, and that was hard but easy enough to get in there. The cutting is a little tricky just because, as you guys can tell, it goes in at an angle, and Eric did a good job of cutting it. We decided to take it horizontal to just eliminate having to do so much cuts. When we first built the dome, we were both adamant that we wanted to go vertical. We just thought that was going to be a cleaner look or a little more modern. But as we now look at the dome and we realize that we have these rails or bars going across that are horizontal, and even just the way the deck lays, it just has these long boards going across. So we figured to buy ourselves some time and some work. We're down to the literal finishing touches right now, and we don't want to give ourselves a whole bunch of work just trying to get these last finishing touches done. This is not going to compromise the build. It is not going to compromise the look that we're going for. It's going to be spray painted black anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and try to run these really quick and just get the skirting out of the way. And we're just screwing these into the post of the deck that we already had here. And Eric did build a frame underneath to attach it at the bottom.
actual something like this, maybe a little smaller. It's hard to visualize it, but it's going to sit inside a little bit. Like that far.
And then come down. I think that'll be a good way to break it and cover the seams. So there you have it, guys. We're gonna just continue on with this metal portion here, and then we're gonna go back with some wood pieces right on top of the post on the inside, the way Eric just held it, to just allow the seams to be covered up and give a more finished look. So we have a lot of metal to start cutting and to get put around the skirting. So we're just gonna do that. I will catch up with you guys in the video when we've made a little bit more progress, but today is basically focusing on getting the skirting done and the stairs, and just mapping out how we're going to finish off the outside portion of the dome. We want to get the skirting done so we can move the hot tub in place. As you guys can see, we do have the pad already done. The electrical is right here. Eric's basically using it today. We got the spigot in for the water, and so we're really ready to go. We just have to button up these last outside finishes and do a full clean and just retouch up of the entire dome, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So a bit more cutting and measuring, but I think this is going to be the quickest way to get it done. Just going horizontal and coming back and finishing up those seams. Everything's going to look so good when it's all painted and it all just blends in together. So we measured out the space we're working in right now, and we're doing sections basically in between all of our posts, and we're kind of building this frame to be able to screw the metal sheeting into. And this is not rocket science, this part. It really is whatever scrap pieces of wood we have left over and just putting it in a place that we can screw the sheeting into. So first we have to have something to attach the board to. So that is the smaller board Eric is screwing in right now to help the other front board that we're going to be screwing the metal into from pushing back too far and keeping everything leveled. So that's basically how we brace this part up to have a board at the top and bottom to be able to apply the sheeting. And so because this is not going to be one straight cut, Eric is now kind of measuring at different points to be able to get the slant that we're going to have to cut to make the metal fit and work in this area. And so this is pretty much what it looks like. We do have a board at the top right underneath the skirting part to be able to screw that sheeting into. And we're just going to continue that metal sheeting all along. We'll come back and we will kind of board off the seams and just get it as nice as possible. This part is not structural and it's not going to make or break our design. It's just to keep our underneath the deck warm and to make sure we don't have any rodents or anything climbing underneath there. But other than that, this is just a part that has to be done. Now that we have the center brace in, we're going to now cut the sheeting, and Eric is just kind of mocking up how he has to cut it. Most of them are not going to be straight just because of the angle on the deck, so he's just trying to figure out how this needs to be cut. Once we get that cut, we're just going to attach it, because now we actually have all the boards in place to attach it to. The first one was a little tricky, trying to figure out how we were going to get it done. But now that we've got that first one and second one at least framed up, I think the rest of this is going to go pretty quickly. The one thing I can say, it's a lot of steps to kind of get the sheeting going. But once you actually use the sheeting and cover up that portion, it's such a large section that is done that it's like in 3 steps we'll be done with this entire side. And then we could at least get our hot tub over here and get it in place. I've been waiting for that moment for so long, because that's one of my favorite features of the dome. A lot of tiny homes are out here in the mountains. There's a lot of domes going up, but a lot of them are not taking the extra step to plumb and figure out how they can get a hot tub. And I know when I stay in the mountains, I want a hot tub. So to see that in its place is going to be so awesome. All right, so we have this part cut, and of course we're just using a metal cutter, and this portion is going to go up, and it is going to completely just amaze you, because it literally covers up such a huge portion that this is going to go faster than we think. One other thing we noticed is that we're going to have to kind of pick out some of the dirt and rocks and stuff. Of course, we just graded this area not too long ago, so we did unearth a lot of rocks, and we kind of just butt up all of the excess dirt to the dome in case we needed to pack and fill anything. So by scraping that back, we're able to get the metal sheeting a lot lower to the ground like we need it. We're not sure how we're going to finish off everything, but we're just thinking we're going to take some gravel up to the dome to kind of finish off that bottom portion, and to act kind of as a little water guide too, and to prevent any rodents or anything from being able to climb and dig underneath the sheeting. And so because we're going to be adding a layer of wood to hide the seams, we don't have to overlap or get them to touch. We definitely don't want to overlap them anyway, because we don't want it to be a big kind of bulge behind the wood that we put there. So just getting it close enough is going to work, as long as it's able to attach into this board and be long enough to attach to the other side. That is what we're looking for. So Eric's going to get this one screwed in right quick, and then it's on to the next one.
I'm amazed that groove works as good as it does. Just slide it in.
All right, we got that last portion on this side cut and put in. We've already built the inside frame that we attach it to, and we're pretty much just going to screw that on here and then get our seam board, which is going to be just like this one, and cover up that seam right there. Now that we've gotten so far, we're going to go ahead and try to see what that board piece is going to look like in the middle of the seam. Just because we don't want to go too far with this plan and turns out it's not something that's going to work, or even something that we're going to like. So Eric kind of mocked this one up here, and it's just going to sit there just like so to kind of block that seam. And also just kind of break it up and give a new look to it. That is going to be stained the same color as the deck, so that's all going to blend in by the time all this is done. And from the looks of things, with it just being pushed up there, I really like it. I think it's going to look really neat once it's all the same color as the deck, and that's a real quick and easy solution to be able to hide the seams.
Straight, center.
Mm-hmm.
Try to eyeball these.
Yeah, we don't have to measure everything out. It's going to take so much time. This is not a big part of the project where we have to make sure this is even. So we're pretty much just going to eyeball most of this stuff just to make sure it's kind of centered, but you'll take so much time just being meticulous and measuring out everything. Yep, so pretty much that is what we are going to do on each seam. Like I said, that is going to be painted the same color as the deck, so it'll all blend in. Quick, easy fix. I think it breaks the metal up and just adds another layer of material to this bottom skirting, and that is going to be what makes all the difference. We didn't really like the metal sheeting coming into the mountains because everyone has it and they all lay it horizontally, but I haven't really seen anyone take the time to cut it in sections and to use another material to kind of break it up. So I'm hoping that this wood going all the way around is going to make the difference. I really love it. Like we said, we're not trying to spend an entire week, month on this project trying to figure out how to get this done. We weren't going for a farmhouse look, so we are going to spray paint this black to match the rails on here and kind of give it a modern touch. But I love the decision that we made to go ahead and just knock this project out and not do vertical, because that would have been so many cuts, and it is so hard cutting over the ridges of this metal sheeting. I just think this is going to work, and this is going to be sufficient for what we needed to do, and also just add that extra touch of having the deck completely closed in and just looking as neat as we wanted to.